Here we go. We are live on Facebook. Says we're live, and I want to make sure we celebrate this beautiful day. And here in the U.S., it is 8:45 in the morning on a beautiful Wednesday, and loving the fact that I get the honor of being with Saiyyidah here. And I think, when did we actually meet? Was it Certified High Performance Coaching back? What was the year, that first year that you?
It was, and if it was the first year, then it was 2014.
Okay, so that was your first year. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Gosh,
started
that's
a
so
year
long.
earlier in the original class, 2013. That was in, I think it was March of 2013 at Santa Clara. And then you
Wow.
were in the class second one, which was in Fremont. And really going after a big part of what our big sort of reveal is today, if you want to call it that, is the idea of really helping people create and sustain great results in their life around what we are blessed to teach and coach, high performance principles. So that being said, would love to just, first of all, celebrate. You have a new reveal today. You just shared with me a little bit ago that it's out, or it's done, it's wrapped up, it's available. But before we get into that, I would love to know what do you want to share with people about who you are, your journey, where you're at right now, anything to set people up to understand you as a beautiful person on this planet.
Thank you, Charlie. And firstly, I have to say thank you so much for allowing me to be here to share with you some of the work that I've been doing for the last few years. It's an absolute honor to be here. And I think it's wonderful to be in the company of a fellow high performance coach, but also in the company of an awesome and outstanding human being. So
Thank you
I
so
have to
much.
say that.
I really appreciate the compliment. Hey,
No, you're welcome. It's
thank
the
you so
truth.
much. Yeah.
So in terms of what I've been doing, I mean, really, I think the essence of where I'm at right now is in some ways a response to some of the challenges that we've been facing this year. And, until February, I was traveling once a month, either to the US or to somewhere for working with leaders or coaching and training. And it was just, you can live such a wonderful life, but I felt as if I was somewhat distracted from some of the truth that I really had to work on. And so it's been a real challenge for me since March, but at the same time, having the opportunity to sit at my desk and face blank pieces of paper and look at blank walls made me think, and rewrite my plans made me think, well, what do I have to do? What is my real core message that I want to get out into the world? And it gave me an opportunity to create the framework for results, to test it, to write the book. And here I am right now. And as I was sharing with you just before we came on live, I mean, literally 30 minutes ago, a miracle happened where I put together all of the chapters of my book, my bibliography, the footnotes, the references, everything is now in one document. And so for the first time in the life of this book, I can see it as one complete book. And to me, it's a real miracle, and it's just something that I'm so pleased I can share with you as an absolute exclusive.
I am so happy for you. Here's the thing I know, and I know you know this about a lot of people who want to make change in the world. They commit to things, but very few complete them. We like to think of that as the high performance conversation. It's like we're on it. It's not even an idea that we're going to complete it. We are going to complete it. And you just shared that you have completed this as of 30 minutes ago. This massive journey, this artifact you've created that leaves a legacy for beautiful people on this planet through the lens of how you teach, share, coach, illustrate, all these kind of things. Just want to celebrate that. Send you tons of love, tons of
Thank you,
excitement.
man.
And I hope everybody's feeling that piece to this. I'd take away a challenge for others as well, in that what is it that we really want to leave others as a legacy or as an artifact? I like the way we talk about that in high performance, creating something that people can experience that we don't have to actively participate in, that we've made once. The beauty of what you've created is now you're in people's heads conversationally for, however long it takes to read the book, hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and you get to have this conversation with them fully focused. That's the beauty of reading a book typically, is just full presence and engagement in that process. And you get to have that and affect change in the world in major ways. So celebrating that for you. What I'd love to know as you've gone through this process, and then we'll kind of step into maybe what the arc of the ambition of the book is, title of the book, all these kind of things. But as you stepped into this process, what was it for you that I don't know, was the fuel, the catalyst to just get it done, that others might be able to take away and be like, yeah, I need to somehow get to that. What was that for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think the key thing for me was realizing that I needed something to help me, and even as a high performance coach, as a project manager, as a positive psychologist, I know so much about the theory, but there was a time this year where I hit rock bottom and I thought, I'm doing so much to support everybody else. I was being strong for my family, for my friends, for the local community. But I just thought, what are you really doing for you?
Yeah.
And that was the real kind of pivot in some ways that made me think I need to sit down and I need to work out what's going to help me, because if I can do that, then of course that will be the thing that also helps other people. And it wasn't easy. I will never say it was it, but then things that are really worthwhile are never easy. And that's what we do as high performers. We go through the challenge and the struggle that is presented in front of us and keep on going. Yeah. And it was really essentially about me saying, how can I get the help that I need, working out what it was, putting it to the test, and then just running with it.
Oh, I love that. And here's the thing I love about what you shared as a lesson for others. And you kind of started with this, is that when we write this, it isn't only for the world. It's to keep our perspective with what's important for us. So often, and you probably do this in some of, maybe if you do video work like I do, you'll watch your own video and be like, oh yeah, that was important. Why am I not doing that right now? Why am I not sticking to my own framework? But then when we can take whatever it is for us that helps us, what we talk about in high performance, live into the best version of ourselves consistently for the long term, and then forward that to others through the beauty of a book. If you decide to do the audio version of it, where you might read it, to have that story told through the lens, through the sounds of you, to really leave that audio legacy too.
Well, I'll tell you a secret, because as I've been, every now and then there's something in there that I'm like, oh, I need to check this out. So when we're in the car and my husband's driving, I'll tell my kids, I've got two of them and they're teenagers, and I'll tell them, put your phones away and just listen, and I'll read a piece out loud. And it's actually been really, really useful to get their feedback, but also preparing me for when I do the audiobook, because there's nothing like listening to a book in the voice of the author. I think for me, that's such a magical experience.
Yeah. So the big thing I want to make sure people take away, if you're going to write even a blog post or content, maybe not a long form book, test it out with your family, test it out with friends, test it out. Maybe do a clip of it online and share the video and say, hey, I love your feedback. See what resonates. I don't know if you've had this in your history, but I know I have the ability to speak in front of workshops as a speaker, as a keynote speaker, up to like 1,000 people. And there's nothing like the feedback of eyeballs when you say something. I always look for those people like squinting their eyes like, I don't get what you just said. Oh, hey, it looks like you guys didn't get what I just said. Let me re-say it. And it informs you, and it gives you this sort of informed intuition of how to deliver things that resonate over time. Similar to what you just shared. That's gold. Thank you for that hint. So now let's dive into, like, when you think about people's life before reading your book and what the effect of change is after they've read your book and maybe made their own notes. And as I take notes, I always look at actionable items like, oh, need to put that in play. Oh, need to go after that. What is it? What are you hoping to affect change with others through the power of your book? I'd love to hear.
I think
and maybe go over the title too. I don't know that we shared that.
Yeah, so results, the art and science of how to get it done. And I think for me, that is the absolute essential aim of the book. It's to help people to get it done. I had lots of debates with internally and also with others. Should we call it things? And I thought, well, no, it's not about getting things done, because that in itself is too loose. As soon as you say getting it done, I know if I say to you, Charlie, what's the one thing you want to get done? You know exactly what that is. So that for me is a key thing in this. It's about helping and supporting individuals and organizations to focus on one thing and then move that forward and help them to make the progress in a way that fits in with their lifestyle and with the capacity that they have. Because often we look at other people and we're thinking, well, why am I not going fast enough? Or how is that working out for that person? Yet really, the comparison that you have is your best version of you. And when you chase that, things become a lot easier. So one of the key elements in this is really about reaching inside, dealing with what I call are the showstoppers, like self-doubt, self-sabotage, imposter syndrome, evolving into the person that you want to be, and then setting a very clear vision. So all of that needs to be done before you actually identify the things that you want to work on. And I think in terms of what I would love people to get out from this book is clarity in who they are, how they show up, what they're working on, and then just to feel more peace and calm as they go about their day-to-day life in making their vision a reality.
So I want to really capitalize on what you just shared at the outset of this. More peace, more calm, more clarity. I'm kind of reading into this a little bit and thinking, you'll know what to say yes to in life, what to say no to. One of the biggest principles tied to what we just shared that so many people have reported in the sessions I've been honored to coach is, Tara, you've given me the ultimate clarity and technique for what to say no to and how to say no nicely. Because you and I teach, like, highest performers are saying no a lot because they're so clear on their yeses. So it sounds like this really helps facilitate that towards, and I would say even, I would dare to say, a level of personal freedom of living life on your terms, but also taking care of others in the best possible way, as well as taking care of yourself. Is that true?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it sounds like you've read my book already.
Oh, I wish I had, but I haven't been able to, because you just wrapped it up. But here's what I know, the principles of what you're teaching. And I did look through your sort of pre-show notes of that. And I love the fact that you're so clear about, here's the things to watch out for. You know, high performance, we talk about defiance in the declaration sessions, the ideas, the things that are just, as you call them, showstoppers. And here's the way to think through them and take action through them and go after true results. So in terms of the next steps, and we think about what people can do, maybe right now, maybe one takeaway or a piece of value, one exercise, one little thing they can think through right now that might be helpful for them that comes from the book. Do you have any illustrations you feel like sharing or anything that you could share for us?
Yeah, absolutely. And what a wonderful question. I have to compliment your questioning and the way that you're structuring it, because it's really, it's pretty outstanding.
Oh,
and
thank you so much.
Giving kind of like action steps for people to do. So it's really brilliant.
Oh, thank you.
One thing that I would love to share is the concept of what I call the project 3x3. Okay. And so essentially you are picking 3 projects that you work on. You select 3 goals within each project and you work on it for 3 months. And that really helps to give such a huge amount of direction. And I'd be very, very specific here. It's 3 projects. It's not 5 and it's not 2. When you end up with too many things to work on, you push yourself into burnout. When you end up with too few things to work on, you bore out. And so for me, there's something magical about having 3 projects to work on and that 3-month kind of cycle where you assess how things are and you kind of create your weekly rhythm and make your monthly moves. And these are all templates that are available within the book. Oh, but that one thing of focus and just saying, these are the 3 things. I also have a tool in there called the reality check, which enables you to kind of assess each project that you've picked against your vision to make sure that it really genuinely is in line with the person that you want to become and where you are right now. So once you've done that, I mean, look, You can do it on the back of a napkin. Nothing sophisticated is needed for this. Just draw a 3 by 3 grid and write on it
Yes.
3 projects you're going to work on, 3 things within each of it, and then go.
Oh, I love that. I love what you shared. Totally resonating. Burnout versus bore out. That was awesome. And what you and I know, because of I'm sure the studies that you've done in your work, academics and so on, the power of threes are at play here. And in our high performance coaching framework, Brendan is really clear about threes on his session work and 3 things and so on. The other thing that I love about what you shared is something I learned through the 2 books. One is The One Thing by Gary Keller. It's to focus deeply on one thing at a time. So if you're doing 3 projects, maybe it's project 1 on day 1, project 2 on day 2, project 3 on day 3, project 1 on day 4, or whatever that works best for the person. And then the other one was Deep Work by Cal Newport, which shares this philosophy that if we have too much on our plate, we don't get to think deeply enough into each project and to kind of look down, paths over here and over there that we can explore and see if this might add to the relevance or the completion of the goal or expand its capacity, whatever the project is, whatever it is, giving ourselves that time, energy, and effort in a world of distraction. And I love how it sounds like, as you're bringing that right around in a real simple thing you can do on a napkin. Thank you so much for the value in advance. And it sounds like a big part of this is so exciting for me. I love to hear stories and illustrations, but like so many, I want to get the tools, the tactics, like by the end of a chapter, by the end of a few chapters, to have something that I can do that I have created. I like to do my work on the whiteboard. So I'll create something from your book on the whiteboard, the 3 by 3 grid. I'll take a picture of it, I'll print it, I'll put it up, and that'll be an artifact that I've created from your work that forwards my life's work. Does that all make sense?
And that's
So
exactly what I would want everyone who reads the book to
yes.
do.
So the challenge for all of us as we think this through is to assure we're not just reading it, got it, good idea, but in the way it sounds like you've engineered your book, is that there's real tactical life shifting, changing things towards feeling what we talked about a while ago, that personal freedom, that clarity, the things that you're going to say yes to and that you can very clearly say no to because you're so clear on the yeses. And you've got this dialed in, just working through your beautiful creation in the world. Is that true?
Yeah, absolutely. For me, it's kind of like I'm holding your hand through this,
Yeah.
and there will be a kind of kids version that I do of the book in the end,
That's
because
awesome.
one of the things that I've had, or feedback that I've had from my testers, is that they want to take their kids through it, and I'm like, I understand, absolutely needed. Let me just get that adult book out in the world first, and then we'll do that, because this is a process we all need.
Yes. Well, here's what I love about what you just shared is this, and this is the premise, a principle, if you will, of high performance. When we look at high performance in life and in business and in the world, there's an element of servant leadership. There's an element of taking what we've learned and not just keeping it here, but paying it forward. And what you've just shared is to the generations to come, you're forwarding this and you're going to have facilitation for that through this child version of the book. And what better gift to give to the young people of the planet than the ability for them to think through, frameworks, ideology, philosophies, and really go after not just I'm going to play games on a phone, but I'm going to make change. I'll still play some games, but I'm going to make change. I'm going to feel better. I'm going to set goals. I'm going to structure them. And I would challenge anybody, and I'm sure you do this in your book, to think about how it can benefit others as we do this work. Man, this is wonderful. And I love the fact, one thing I want to come back to is the fact you said you're going to read it, because I love the books, like Brendan's books, our master coach, Brendan Burchard. I have them all here to supplement our high performance coaching that I do. High performance habits, the charge. He reads the books, and it's a whole different sensation when the author's reading the book. And I love the fact you're on that. So to wrap up our interview today, I would love to know any final words, any final challenges, any final things you want to share to make sure we all know about, how to contact you, what the next step is if people want to get involved in this. Would love to hear.
Thank you, Charlie. So
Yeah.
anyone can go and get the book from Amazon. It's Results, the Art and Science of Getting It Done. Very shortly, there will be a challenge that's available as well called the Results Circuit Breaker. That's going to be a free 7-part challenge that you can do either in a week or 2 weeks or a month. So it's designed for it to be very flexible and integrate into your life. And yeah, you can find out more about the work of the results methodology at results.partners.
Okay, so that's a web address, results.partners. And they can find out, get in, go after it, and then look on Kindle or look on Amazon for the Kindle release and get that way. It's been an absolute honor being in this conversation with you, celebrating the fact, and I just want to make sure people get this. You did it. You took the time, the energy, the resource, the commitment to create something, to create an artifact that's left in the world that is going to forward people feeling more free, more clear on what they're about, who they are, overcoming things, self-doubt, self-sabotage. You took the time and energy effort to do this. So many people, as you know, I'm going to write that book someday. I'm going to do that someday. But the true high performers here do the work and go after it. And there's a side note of something I've discovered about you, which I think is incredibly admirable, is that you're getting masterful in making sure that the marketing is sustained for the long term. You know, sometimes when people write books, they're like, I got the book out, go buy it. And then it just fades away. But it sounds like from what you've been sharing that you're like, no, this book, it's like when the student is ready, the teacher appears, and somebody may need this book a year from now, and you're going to have some form of something happening online to make sure that when they need it, it's available and there's still a emotionally connective experience for that. Is that true?
100%. I mean,
Yes.
I wrote the book thinking this is going to be a movement, you know.
Yes.
So there's going to be a community, there's going to be support for anyone. I've said, you know, if anyone's got any challenges or issues with anything that they read from the book, any implementation, they just need to reach out with the hashtag results book. You know,
Okay.
it's
Wow.
that simple. I don't believe in putting your work out into the world and then just saying, here you go. Like,
Yeah.
I'm here for you. You know,
Yeah.
you buy my book, you are part of my community.
Yeah. And I love what you've shared because it is what you and I talk about in high performance. It's not a destination, it's a continual journey. And it's just assuring that we're bringing up. And every page of your book has got to have a quote or a thought or a teachable piece that could even be photographed and shared as a quote card for, you know, quote card, a graphical image in social media for the long haul that has its own like legs that could give. And if you figure you had, I don't know how many pages it is, but if you had 100 pages, that's maybe 100 different ideas that could be leveraged as a continual strategy to go after this. And I just want to make sure everybody gets this. It's not just about writing the book, but that's a huge thing to accomplish. It's about the longevity of the message. It's about making sure that we've got, in the terms of internet marketing, we've got evergreen funnels at play. And that we're doing work out here in social media and YouTube to continually keep the conversation alive. If this book has legacy legs, I'll call it legacy legs. But the idea that it can help people today, a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, because of the principles involved with it. So I just want to celebrate one more time, say thank you so much for spending time on this beautiful morning here in Florida with me. I know, I don't know that we shared where you're at right now. If you want to go ahead and share that, and then we'll wrap up our beautiful time together.
I'm in London, UK, and
Yay.
It's not raining, which is a big blessing. So
yeah, I was in London last December, had such a blast. I know we were trying to get connected. We had a pretty good schedule going on. If we can travel again someday in the future, I will be over there. Make sure we connect. Probably see it at an event. Just want to shout out one more time, celebrate you for the beauty and the power of what you're putting in the world with your beautiful spirit, energy, and love. 2, you've done it. As we end this session together, just the challenge for anybody listening or watching, what is it that's holding you back from putting an artifact, a legacy piece into the world that could even just help your immediate family, but might be able to help more people than that? And to really go through and read the book you've created will help you overcome any showstoppers, as you call them. I love the way you worded that. And to keep 3 as a magic number, this idea of bore out versus burnout, and to go after it. So that being said, thank you so incredibly much for this beautiful time together. My job on this planet is to make sure I'm sharing beautiful people like you that are living purposefully, passionately, positively, productively, getting our life's work done and out, and ultimately profitably, if that's a thing for people that I'm working with, towards life freedom, towards personal freedom. I think this totally is in alignment with it. Thank you so much. Any final words before we wrap up?
Go get the results.
Yay! All right. Well, thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and shut down. And just remember, everybody, results.partners, Kindle, on Amazon. You get the book. I'll make sure I have the links below for you. Thank you so much. Take care. Have a good one. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, Charlie.
All right. I think we did it. And it's still recording.
Yay!
So I'm going to go ahead and stop the